All right, now hold on real quick. I know you're expecting us to talk about Buster or Alex or somebody from the Murdaugh family, huh? Now, we're taking a little change of direction real quick into John Wayne Gacy. Now, this dude, I didn't know this interview existed. It's a full-on interview of him just talking hella regular, super normal and casually about what he's accused of doing. Now, keep in mind, he's accused of bodying at least 33 little boys, like really on some shit. So let's get straight into this interview and see what's going on.
Constantly saying that I said this and I said that, and it's not happened.
So it's pretty well established in this. This is the first time you're speaking publicly about your case.
Right.
Yeah.
I've always felt that my attorneys were handling it, and they said to keep a low profile and stay away from it. And in light of all that has been used against me in the media, they've created this fantasy monster image, and it's been going on for the last 12 years. And
I like how the newsman like slowly pans in on him, kind of like the creep that we're interviewing. It's hilarious. I know they're doing that on purpose for cinematic effect. But yeah, man, the dude seems super normal so far.
had no comment, and I had no need to talk to the media for the simple reason that they were looking for sensationalism and they were looking for the monster.
When you say fantasy monster image, what are you referring to by that?
Well, the idea that I'm a homosexual thrill killer and all that garbage, and they painted this image of me that like I strolled down the streets and stalked young boys and slaughtered them. Hell, if you could see my schedule, my work schedule, you know damn well that I was never out there.
Well, you were indicted, convicted, and sentenced on 33 counts of homicide. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, real quick. You are gay. I mean, let's be real. You did all that crazy shit to boys. I mean, even the fact that you're implicated in something like that makes an eyebrow raise. But you're implicated in 33 of those things? Come on, dog. Get it together.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, insofar as sound goes, if I'm down with my head, does that hurt your sound quality?
No, it's okay. Just try not to move around too much. Please. If you're breaking the sign, give him a cue.
What kind of a question is that? Will that hurt your sound quality? Just stay still and do the interview. This is probably the first time he's been out of jail for a little while, too.
We'll go into the lead-in as you know, you were at 1978.
Yeah.
You were president.
What does he do? Who is he?
Okay, that's the way I'd like to start, and I'd like to kind of go
What do
through
you got there? Let's see your list.
Well, I just like to go through the generalities, maybe talk about the background of the thing, the original.
Why is he behind him like Billy at school? Like, come on, Billy, you got this. You got this, Billy. Like, what is going on with this dude? We gotta keep an eye on this guy. Anyway.
Case.
Bleeping of the language, I will watch the language.
Yeah, he's gonna try. John does tend to slip into.
Well, I call it as I see it. Some people can't understand that. All right, so whenever the hell they're ready.
Now, give me kind of just an overview of the business that you eventually established, the construction work. Is this self-taught then, the construction and maintenance work?
I started doing painting, and then I started doing wallpapering and decorating. And inside of 3 years, PDM, which is painting, decorating, and maintenance, was doing $1 million a year.
And that was.
And I only had 4 employees.
And that was the business you were in at the time of the arrests.
That's correct.
Damn, so his business was doing $1 million a year. That's crazy. Now, obviously, he's not making that completely. He has employees and he has expenses, but that's crazy. Imagine you're that successful and you're still out here doing nasty shit to boys. That's crazy.
PDM in 1974 became a corporation, and then I owned PDM Contractors Corporation. I owned PDM Plumbing, PDM Concrete, and PDM Decorating. Mm-hmm. And then I branched off with another partner into Rafco Construction. Mm-hmm. And from there, we were doing strictly drugstores.
Now, they did not search the house at that time or look through the house?
No. According afterwards, they're claiming that they came to the
Damn, look at those teeth. You're claiming, hold on.
front door.
Oh. You're claiming that you made $1 million a year and your teeth look like that? I don't know. I smell something fishy. Maybe back then everybody's teeth was just bad, but geez, bro, like go to a dentist.
The house and knocked on the door, and that I hid from them.
Why didn't you let them in at that time when they were knocking at the front door?
There was no way I could have heard them. I was way in the back of the house, in the rec room, on the telephone. When they finally walked around the side of the house, I could look out the picture window, see them there, because I was on the phone, and they could see me clearly too, sitting on the couch on the telephone, because I was talking to my sister in regards to a death in our family. So I told her that I would call her back. Got up, went to the door, and he introduced himself as cousin Zach and Piquel, and they wanted to come in and talk to me about Robert Peast. And I had told him that I had not had any conversation with him, but I said, if you want to talk to me, then come back there.
And you don't want to seem guilty, right? So you're gonna be like, oh yeah, come on through, come on. Best believe if the police knock on my door right now and they want to talk to me about John Gacy, let's do that. I'm not fucking talking to them. I'ma politely be like, oh yeah, no thank you. I don't know who the fuck that is. Get a warrant. Boop. Close the door. The fuck? And I got a screen door. Not a screen door. I have like a bar door in front of my like wood door. So like I could open up the whole wooden door and see you. And be, bye. Psh, get a warrant. No, we don't do that.
And they wanted me to come down to the police station. Okay, well, I didn't have time because I was doing work for the county and stuff like that. Finally, on the next day, after cousin Zach and Piquel were at the house, they had asked me to come in and give me an account of my whereabouts. The thing of it is that on that same day, they held me there for 9 hours, and while holding me there for 9 hours, they executed a search warrant. The first search warrant was executed on December 13th.
Oh, well, they had a search warrant. Never mind.
That is the search warrant where they claimed they went through the house looking for Robert Peast. It was written up to be looking for Robert Peast, and Robert Peast wasn't there.
The police had focused in on you as being the suspect in the missing boy, and eventually...
they were following me around.
Following you?
Yeah, constantly. And on December 13th, I had made a statement to the police department, and from that date forward, they had me under surveillance. The only trouble is that the Mickey Mouse way they were doing it, they had 2 cars following me day and night, and they had trouble keeping up with me, so I used to go out to the car in the morning and tell them where I was going. So
a cocky bastard. I believe this is before he thought he was going to get caught, and he was kind of just like, oh yeah, I'm about to go here because you guys can't. I remember that. It was in some sort of a documentary. Now, make sure you guys like and comment that you want to see more, because we could break Gacy down too, because it's an interesting rabbit hole for sure.
In case I got lost, because at the time I was doing 5 construction jobs in 5 parts of the city. So in essence, I was all over the place. But this was like Keystone Cops trying to follow me around.
There's that one photograph of you and Rosalind Carter.
Yeah, Mrs. Rosalind Carter. Well, the Secret Service tries to cover it up and said, well, we don't know how he got into the picture. Hell, I was in charge of the reception. I had to stand at the door and let them know which politicians were allowed in and which ones weren't. The thing of it is, but the Secret Service wanted to cover up and make it sound like that I had no business there. I was cleared, and I was with the Secret Service at the time and setting up the parade route and everything, because I used to set up the parades for the Polish Alliance.
So he's doing all of this while under suspicion of these murders. That's crazy. And I know that went to his head, feeling like a big shot. Oh, I muted it. Oh no. Oh no. Bam.
In a row, I had set up the parades to run. And, that's a big feat, getting 20,000 Polish people to go in one direction at one time. The subdivision,
what does that mean?
Where the Summerdale house is located is built on a clay field. And when it rained, the rain would come down from both ends and would flood from one house to the other. The crawl space would fill up with water. In 1976, I asked a landscaper, I said, what do you do for that sour odor of clay? And he said, spread white lime, just regular masonry lime. On the ground, he said it'll sweeten up the clay and you won't have that odor.
Oh yeah, white lime is it's like chalk almost. We We've had stuff like that in Belize. If it's the same white lime that I'm thinking of, it's like you can use it to like paint trees. Like you could paint it white with like the white lime and stuff. It wears off after a while, and I guess you could put it on clay to make it not stink. But yeah,
sort of like what charcoal does in filtering things. That's why the lime was spread in the crawl space.
How much lime was spread down there eventually?
I think 700 or 800 pounds of it.
Wait.
The first search warrant was executed on December 13th. However, what is strange is you had...
So his explanation for spreading 700 pounds of white lime underneath his crawl space was that the clay stunk. Not the dead bodies that he's piling up everywhere. Nah, stinky clay.
20 trained officers that came into that house supposedly went down in the crawl space, crawled around. There was no mounds of dirt, there was no odor, there was no nothing. I never feared anybody going down that crawl space. The clowning was relaxation for me. I enjoyed entertaining kids. Like some people are, they unwind in different ways, either by going out drinking or that. I could put on clown makeup and I was relaxed.
Yeah, he unwinded by like killing kids, not entertaining them. This guy is sick, man. What the fuck?
I enjoyed doing it.
I'm sure you did.
It was only twice a month that I did it.
Yeah, this was not using.
He only killed them twice a month.
Draw kids to you
No, we would visit different hospitals.
Did you see that side eye? He looking at the other detective? No. That wasn't the whole plan in the beginning. No.
Hospitals and entertain the children there. And we didn't entertain them with handcuffs or anything like that. All we used was balloon animals and small toys and stuff like that. But we also did parades. And in the summertime, like on 4th of July, I used to be in 4 parades.
And I forgot. The way he got these kids was to say, oh, yeah, I'm going to show you a magic trick. Put this handcuff on, and now do this. Now they can't get anywhere. Ooh, imagine you're in that situation. Shit. I don't know.
One day. I've always told people when I got into clown makeup, I regressed into childhood. It was fun being a clown because you could be yourself or just let yourself go and act a fool. You could be slapstick and funny and have a good time. That's why I always enjoyed clowning.
On a historical note, your Iowa...
Nah, I just think clowns are weird. It may be an underrated opinion, but I just don't like clowns. Never did. Never will.
Conviction goes back to what year was that?
1968.
68. And what was, just in a nutshell, without getting in too deeply, what was the basis of the Iowa conviction?
The basis of it was a conviction. It's the only thing I ever was sentenced to was a conviction. They're claiming that the state representative's son, who was on the other party, he claims that he was actually abused by me.
Bro,
in essence,
see, you can't believe there's a YouTuber I watch called DJ Ghost. Shout out DJ Ghost. Love that guy. He said there's no such thing as a coincidence like that or something like that. But no, he's like, I don't believe in coincidences. Man, that's too much of a coincidence. Everything with you is young boys.
Blackmailing me for it. Now, what it boiled down to was oral copulation. And it was consensual. I moved to Waterloo, Iowa. I was honored as Man of the Year because besides working full-time...
Did he just admit that it boiled down to that, but it was consensual? So he did compromise?
I also, I was a chaplain for the Jays and also ran the membership campaign. And, of course, we used pornography. We had stag shows, and that's how we increased the membership from 150 to 400 members in that JC chapter. We were dealing with films, and we had a girl set up in a room in that. So it was, the thing to do. We were boosting membership from it. So nobody said a word about it. At the time, this young individual made the charge at me. He was blackmailing me. He wanted more and more money. He said, look, I gave you a blowjob. Now you got to pay for this. I said, go see your father. He wasn't getting along with his father.
Wait, he just said he wasn't gay. Now he's saying I got blackmailed because the guy sucked my dick. Now he wants me to do something. Bro, this guy is confused. He's dazed and confused, y'all. This man doesn't know what's like. What? That was the problem back then. These dudes were so messed up, they didn't know what to say. I'm not gay. He just gave me a blowjob. That's not gay. Nah, people still use that today. Yeah, nah, he just gave me a blowjob. That's not gay. He sucked my... It's gay, bro. It's fine, too, but it's gay. I'm just letting you know.
But they came down heavy on me.
How about your dad, John? Well, you had mentioned that you could never really please him, that he had talked of you in
And I did not hate
terms.
I didn't hate my dad either.
But you did have a hard upbringing with him, did you not?
My dad came from the old country, limited education, but he was a good provider and with strong will and strong views. He was also an alcoholic, sorry to say.
Was he abusive? Did he strike?
Probably.
When he drank, he was almost like a different person.
So, yeah,
My dad
he beat the fuck out of you.
struck all of his children all the time. Yeah.
When you paroled out, where did you set up, establish your residency?
I was
It's not when dad gets home and you can tell he's drunk. He's like, oh shit, it's about to be a boxing match tonight. That's fucked up. But hey, screw him. What he did is fucked up.
under the interstate compact. I was paroled back to Illinois.
Mm-hmm. And you went to Springfield first, did you not?
No,
No?
directly to Chicago
Directly to
because
Chicago.
I had a job working at Bruno's restaurant. That was a requirement of interstate compact transfer. You had to have a job and a place to stay. I moved in with my mother in the condominium. My dad had just passed away, so
Yeah.
I lived with my mother
Okay.
and worked at Bruno's as a chef. When I first got out on parole, for the next 2 years, I stayed with Bruno's restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
God, if I bumped into him as a chef, man, I wouldn't have even known. Thank God he's not around now.
And I worked for them. But on the side, I used to go in at 4 in the morning and get off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And to me, that was too short of a day, not enough work. So I started doing odd jobs painting. And I found that on the weekends.
Wait, 4 in the morning to 2? Isn't that like a 10-hour shift? That's a 10-hour shift. Man, cap. He's lying.
The afternoons and the weekends, I was
It's not
making
enough
more money
work.
than I was as a chef, even though I was getting 12 something an hour. I borrowed $600 from my mother.
Damn, he was making 12 some an hour? What time period was this? Like the 70s, right? Like, that's not bad for back then, right? Before inflation and all this other shit. Like,
And through odd jobs, I left the chef business. I owned PDM Contractors. PDM was able to work 52 weeks out of the year, while most construction companies shut down for the winter. I never had time to shut down because I had them on a waiting list. Our business was growing at that rapid rate. The Summerdale house was rented to PDM Contractors, and like the living room was the front office. The dining room of that house was like a boardroom because it was an 8 by 10-foot table with big captain chairs because we use it as a boardroom for meetings.
Media has called you a homosexual killer. What is your position on homosexuality?
I have nothing against it. I'm an outspoken liberal.
you better not have anything against it, buddy. Man, those teeth are tough. I need to fix my teeth. That shit is tough. My shit's crooked, but those things are like something else.
I don't care for the labeling. I don't care for any labeling for that fact.
Do you claim
no.
homosexuality?
No, I would definitely not be
So what are you?
homosexual. I have nothing against what they do, and I don't deny that I've
Partaking.
engaged in sex with males, but that
Okay.
I'm bisexual.
You're bisexual?
Right. My preference is women, and I've been married enough times and have children, and I see nothing wrong with it. My dad had
Ooh, now imagine marrying this guy as a woman, right? And you think he likes women, but he's been knocking down men for the past 2 relationships. How would you feel? Just saying. And I know he's not telling them this because you can just go outspoken. Hey, what was your last relationship and this and that? Oh, I was with Steven, but he's not saying that. He's not saying that.
conservative values. If you were out after midnight, you were up to no good. My dad did not believe it. If you were out after dark and you didn't leave a phone number, you were up to no good. So I think that's why I tended to go that way more, just to be the opposite of him. I was married twice, and just because I didn't get along in the marriages, my marriages went down the drain only because I was a workaholic, working 7 days a week in that. There was 12 keys out to the house.
12 sets of keys?
12 sets of keys.
It could have been because he was a workaholic or he was in the closet. One of the two. I don't know. I'm thinking the second.
Anybody working for PDM contractors had a set of keys for the house. So you could come and go when you wanted. And of course, my neighbors would keep me informed. They would inform me, God, while you were out of town, they must have been partying all night there.
Who is Rossi?
Michael Rossi was an employee of PDM.
Mm-hmm. And how old was he at the time? Who was he?
He was 20 years old. Insofar as being bisexual, if I wanted to engage in sex, Rossi and Cram were willing to go down on me anytime I wanted to, providing they were given stuff. Now,
when the search warrants were effected in your case, they did find an awful lot in the crawl space of your home, did they not?
Gay for pay.
I had offered to sell them the house because I thought there was nothing down in the crawl space.
Yeah.
Sure.
I had never had any qualms about them going down in the crawl space.
Well, how many bodies were actually located on the property, and where?
To my understanding, there was a total of 29 bodies, or 28 bodies were found on the property. 27 of them under the house.
And the rest?
And he's just saying it so casually, like, yeah, 26, 27 under the house. Like, yeah, it wasn't me, though. But, like, damn, they were there. Shit.
One was under the driveway, one was under the garage. So that makes a total of 29.
Okay. Now, from the standpoint of the arrest, when you were arrested in this matter, it
snowballed.
It snowballed.
Yeah, of course it did.
What was the date of that arrest, do you recall?
December 22nd, 1978 is when I was arrested. The rope trick is not, the way I've described the rope trick is it's nothing more than a tourniquet. And I had explained it to them. I even demonstrated it to them. It would cut off the air. So if you're going to kill somebody, you just put it on their neck and twist it 3 times or 4 times or whatever until the person stopped moving.
And you took him where?
Out on the I-55 bridge.
And that's where, how was he then taken from the car and placed into the river?
Just opened up the trunk and dumped him in.
Okay.
There was no big special deal on it. I couldn't get down in the crawl space that easy, and then I had to bum back to begin with. You got to crawl on your belly to move around in the crawl space. There is no way that I could have done any of the digging down there. I had enough trouble just getting down there. Gregory Godsick, let's see, number 4. Gregory Godsick had come to work for me in according to this, 1976. He came to us through Taft High School through a program. He had worked for Republic Lumber Company. And I'm not the monster image that's been portrayed of me. And the only way you can make a monster image is to make it look like I stalked the streets and picked up altar boys off the street. You know, they want to make them look like innocent babes in the woods, and I was swatting them like flies. My encounters were always by happen chance. If you pull up at a stoplight and there's somebody standing there waiting for a bus, if you give them a ride, and if you ask them whether, you know, do you get in anything or you want drugs or something like that? That's how it happened. Always a happen chance encounter.
A number of 3 or 4 psychiatrists, psychologists interviewed
I had 13 of them. There was 6 for the defense and 7 for the state.
Yeah. What was the
state
position
doctor,
of the defense psychiatrists? What did they feel your problem was? What did they come up with from the standpoint of
what the hell is it? God, I can't remember offhand. Borderline personality. Antisocial behavior. I don't see how anybody can be antisocial when you were involved with the public as much as I was.
How about the multiple?
That's true. I don't know. Ooh, look at that face he made. But that's crazy. So I don't get it. This interview is so cut. It was hard to get a good interview. But it's like he was admitting to throwing a body over the bridge, but not the other 29 bodies underneath the house. So it's kind of weird. Like, he's admitting to some and not admitting to, like, the big one. But, like, what's the difference?
Personality issue.
Oh, the multiple personality came out of Dr. Reifman and Hartman. These two clowns from the Cook County there, they came to see me the first time. I said, "Do you want to talk to John Wayne Gacy, the politician, the clown, the family man, or the businessman?" The next day, I see it in the newspaper. Gacy has 4 personalities. One of the headlines said I was a homosexual mass murderer, confessed mass murder. There is no confession, and we offered. I offered as much as $10,000 if you can produce a confession where I confess to a crime. The time that I was interrogated by the police officers, there was no stenographer, there was no tape recording, there was no videotaping. Nothing was ever taken down, yet everywhere you'll see there's 5 confessions by John Wayne Gacy.
Bro, just accept it. He's saying that he didn't confess when he did, bro.
Now, if I confessed to something, then why wasn't it videotaped? Why wasn't it recorded? Why wasn't a stenographer brought in, had it written up, and have me sign it? There is no confessions in this case. What I did not know about this insanity defense is that in the state of Illinois, when you plead not guilty by reason of insanity, you're saying that you committed the crime, but that you were insane at the time. So it's not a question of innocent or guilt anymore. What they're trying to do is your whole trial now becomes an insanity trial where you're to decide whether a person is sane or insane.
John, how about Tim McCoy, the last one of the 5 that you say you have personal knowledge of?
Tim McCoy, even though he's the last one, he's the first one.
He's the first one, actually.
Right.
The first of the 33.
Tim McCoy was the first one, and Tim McCoy's name wasn't put on him until 1988. Prior to that, he was known as Unknown Number 9, and he was buried by me in the crawl space. That's the only knowledge that I have of it.
What was the circumstance?
Wait, what the fuck? I'm so confused.
He was killed in the house in self-defense.
He was killed in the house by self-defense. That is crazy. The guy's delusional. I don't know what to say. He had me thinking I was crazy just now. It's like, but wait, I thought you didn't murder any. Oh, self-defense. So you buried him, just one. Bro.
Who killed him then?
I stabbed him.
Yeah, and it was an issue of self-defense. Why was he in the process of assaulting you, or what?
He was coming at me with a knife. I just took the knife away and twisted it in his hand, and that's what killed him.
Interesting.
So at that point, you yourself did bury him then in the crawl space.
Right, and if you notice, he's under concrete.
Did you bury any of the others in the crawl space?
No, I had nothing. I had no knowledge of them.
Yeah.
No.
Why?
Did you bury the other ones in the crawl space? No, I had no knowledge. Gacy, bro, why didn't you just thrive in your business, make money, have a good time? Like,
is it that
go on vacation,
there, and then 20 some others are buried down there as well? Did somebody know that you had done this with the first one, giving them an idea?
More than likely, when drinking and getting high with the others, yeah.
Admitting it to them. So you feel others then followed your suit in using this as a burial ground?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Just want to.
Hey, I mean, if you don't have any more lawyers and the interview guy came, that's a pretty clever way of trying to play it off. Like, oh yeah, they heard about what I did, so it just became a burial ground. Everybody was burying stuff in my crawl space. 23 kids. Everybody was doing it.
Highlight on John Zick. They want to make such an issue over John Zick and his disappearance. I think he was killed for his car, personally.
And your personal knowledge of the Zick case then is
my personal knowledge of the Zick case is that I had come home and Zick and Rossi were at the house. I had a few drinks. I went to bed. When I woke up the next morning, Rossi was sleeping on the couch and Zick was dead on the floor. I went about my own business and he was gone later on.
And where did he go? Where did he end up?
I assumed he ended up in the crawl space.
Did you see him being transported down there?
No, wasn't present. Didn't do the transporting.
But when he was dead on the floor?
He was dead on the floor, yes.
And did you have a conversation with anybody about that?
No. In other words, I just kept my mouth shut because I didn't want to get involved. Mm-hmm. My idea was to just stay out of it.
You stayed ahead.
So another body, he's saying that, oh, that one I was in the house and somebody I had over one killed the other, and I just didn't want to get involved, so I just left. And when I got back, they were gone.
Health as a child.
At the age of 10, I was told I had a enlarged bottleneck heart. Okay, and so I had a tendency to pass out a lot.
How about childhood illnesses? Did you have any, accidents rather? Any sort of
I was
injuries or accidents?
When I went to the other vocational school, when I first went to the vocational school, I got hit with a park swing in the side of the head, caused a mastocyte.
At what age was that? Approximately.
14, I believe.
Got hit with a swing? Were you unconscious?
Yeah, I was taken to a medical clinic. That was at the time, that's when I started seeing that I had epilepsy.
Did
So
you have any,
don't blame that
episodes
on what you did.
Seizures?
Seizures,
Yes,
things of that
seizures were, according to the doctor, they claimed that when I have an epileptic seizure, I had 800 times my own strength, or 800 pounds of strength.
Had you ever been sexually abused by anybody?
At the age of 9, there was a contractor.
Building contractor?
Building a house next door.
Oh, they did do some touchy to him. Figures. In my head, I was like, he probably did.
He used to pick me up and take me for rides, and always wanted to show me wrestling holds with always pinning my head in between his legs. But at the time, I did not look at it as sexual. He was showing me wrestling holds where my head was always constantly pinned between his legs or under his legs. I was 19 when I ran away, and that was in...
Yeah, nah. If Unc wanted to do some shit like that, oh, nah. He's getting punched in the nutsack. Like, oh, you want to stuff? Oh, I thought we were wrestling. Crazy.
80, not 80.
Crazy.
61.
He was 9.
I went to Las Vegas for 3 months.
It's young.
Took my car and left.
Yeah.
I worked for Powell Mortuary, being the night man picking up bodies at the hospitals and stuff for them. I worked as a night man only. I did have nothing to do with the bodies. All this talk that I slept with the dead ones or had sex with dead bodies, there is no truth to any of that.
You did live in the mortuary.
I lived in the mortuary, yes, but not in the embalming room. I mean, they make it sound like, I slept in the crypts with them. And I never climbed into a coffin or anything like that. That is so damn ridiculous.
I think it tickles him because he did.
The contention is that I slept all night with Robert Peace. If you want to say I slept in the same house with a dead body, okay, fine, I'll buy that. But in the same room, no. And besides, the dead won't bother you. It's the living you got to worry about. I
that's a good saying to go out with.
I knew that I didn't do the killing, and I thought it would come out in the trial. But Amaranthi, with this insanity defense, and again, you can call it my ignorance of the law. It's like I explained in a letter to Chief Justice.
It's hilarious. He pled guilty innocent by insanity or whatever, and thought that was gonna get him off. Nah, bro, you just have a miserable life in another facility where they stab you with needles instead of jump you. Like, it's terrible either way.
Clark, the evidence-based is on the theory that the more sensational a case is, the more crazier it sounds, the insanity defense would work. And I still think it was stupid. I think that they did a disservice to me, and they did a disservice to the victims. And you know what people don't understand is I feel I was wrongfully convicted.
You played
for
yourself.
33 murders, and it was only because of sensationalism and ego. The Des Plaines police did a sloppy investigation. This is, it may not be the correct way of wording it, but the thing of it is that they had other suspects, and they had tunnel vision in to say, it's Gacy's house, it's easier to put everything on Gacy.
No, you live there. That's the problem. And you have a history of messing with little boys. There you go. You're suspect number 1.
Have improved over the years. I think we've seen some...
I think I've learned from each one of them.
Yeah.
I guess it's the same reason why I relate to Michelangelo, because he was a workaholic, and Leonardo da Vinci. People always ask me who my favorite
Okay, the
artist.
more he says he's a workaholic, the less I believe him. He said this about 3 times already. Now my belief level is at like 25%. It was at first at like a 90, but now you can't believe this fool.
This are and why. And I did not know that Michelangelo was homosexual. It doesn't make no difference to me. He was a workaholic. He was a sculptor. He was a painter, and
Nobody cares
Did a
if
lot of other things.
Michelangelo. I didn't even know
Da
that.
Vinci was an
See,
inventor.
who looks out for something like that to say that? Like I didn't even know he was a homo. Somebody who's in the closet. So there you go. Come on, Gacy. Come on out, bro. We all. No, we're not even trying. No, we're not even trying to gratify that for Gacy. Never mind.
And of course, in my life, I've done painting, decorating, wallpapering. I've done mural work. You name it. As you know, I'm a bug about record keeping. All of my business records confirmed where I was, who I was with, what hotel I stayed at, what meals I ate. Everything was in the files. And all of those files on December 29th of 1978 were confiscated by the Des Plaines Police Department.
Okay.
And those files there alone could have proven that I wasn't in Illinois when 16 of these murders, when they finally set the dates as to when these murders occurred.
Now, you did say that you never painted yourself as the innocent babe in the woods.
We're going over the same thing. Yeah, we're not going to go into.
Basically, no. But I mean, the point is if you feel that you're not covering up your part of the crimes, but at the same time you open up the thought that others were involved, would you be willing to cooperate with law enforcement people today to avail, say, the materials that you have amassed and to more or less pursue, if in fact there are others that are on the streets that have been involved in these murders, would you be willing to cooperate and to assist to?
I think he would say yes.
That to the ends of bringing others to justice. Would you be willing to do that?
He would say yes because if they wrongfully accuse someone just by the slimmest chance, that would get him the hell out of there.
I got no qualms about that, but what I don't understand.
I've got no qualms about that. See? Told you.
Is why wasn't it done to begin with, Bob? The thing of it is, they want you to believe that I and I alone committed these murders, and I had nothing to do with the murders of anyone.
If anybody was involved, then how many people are we talking about beside yourself?
We believe there was 4 people involved, and that would be Michael Rossi, David Cram, Philip Paskey.
I bet you they're all dead.
Got a Philip Paskey who had a newsletter going out of the Cook County Jail. And here he is involved with a guy named John Norman. And John Norman was running Boys for Hire. They were making snuff films with young boys. To me, they were pimping them off. They were selling them.
Sure they were.
There was a crossover.
You notice his entire, the entire group of people that he knows about, they're all, into some weird shit. That's how you know he belongs in jail. There's no doubt about it. It's crazy that he actually thinks that he can spin some type of lie to get out of this.
When we checked into John Norman's background, that he goes all the way back to the early 70s, involved in he ran the Norman Foundation. He run Epic International and the Odyssey Foundation out of Dallas, Texas. And these were organizations where wealthy men could hire young boys for sexual weekends. I have a lot of things that I've forgotten that I can't remember. For instance, I can go back to my childhood and stuff and I still remember that, but yet I can go into the 70s and there are a lot of things I can't remember.
I knew it was the 70s. Yes. Yeah, back in the 70s, I don't think people were really taking care of their teeth like that. But holy crap, that's all I'm looking at. I am sorry.
The same thing with the victims. I've looked at all of, I don't know if you notice here, we got pictures of every one of the victims here. And believe it or not, for the last 12 years, I've studied these photos of the victims. And there is no...
Bro, that is sick. If you were innocent, you wouldn't be studying the photos of no dead people they found underneath your house, bro. I am sorry if anybody out there is a professional clown. I will not be hiring you at my birthday party or my son or daughter's birthday party. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want me to really deep dive into this thing, let me know, comment it. Let me know, hey, do that John Wayne Gacy situation, you know? I'll do it. But anyway, stay inside, stay safe, everybody. I will see you later. Peace.